Why did I buy these? So I bought these probably about a year and a half ago, and I already done a video on these, but the video never made it to YouTube because it was absolutely shit. I have just had these in my collection of art supplies for all this time, and I was always just like, oh my god, I don't know why I bought these. These cost me like $20 from a art supply store, and it was just an absolute disaster of a video, and there's not much on them. Like, I have done a bit of research to see if there's anyone out there that has used them. The Mont Marte website actually has a video on how to use it, but it's just them painting an elephant, and from what I can see, they just basically outline this elephant and they just color it in. They use a mixture of the crayon type texture, as well as they get a bit of water and they mix it in with some water. Today I thought I would be brave and revisit these and just see if I can make these work. Now, I'm not going to do any swatches because I've already done swatches. This is the swatch sheet that I did yeah, that year and a half ago. So yeah, they're interesting colors. I do like this one. It does come with a sort of a monster green sort of color, and yeah, it's a bit of a shame to waste them. I didn't want to waste them and just never use them. So yeah, let's figure out how to use these things and create a picture today with them. I got my Mont Marte mop watercolor brush. Let's have some Mont Marte paper as well. Even though I have a love-hate relationship with Mont Marte products, I just seem to keep buying them. Alright, let's figure out the best way to use these. Let's pick a color. Let's pick teal. So this is what they look like. So they're like a it's just a glorified crayon, and they just twist at the base here, and yeah, they're very moist already. So there's just a huge array of colors. I just can't believe there's no videos on these whatsoever other than the Mont Marte one. Like, I cannot find a single video on these. So that probably just goes to show you that not too many people are interested in this product, but you know, your girl bought them and I'm stuck with them. So obviously the best way, well, one of the ways that you can use them is just directly, just like that, and they just look like a crayon. But that year and a half ago, I did try an illustration with the mixed method of doing like a crayon like that, like doing the crayon method like that, and a mixture of mixing them with water, and it was shocking. It was so bad. So I am not going to use them like this, because one thing I also noticed was that it was left very patchy. To me, they're basically just like a watercolor. They're just like solid watercolors in a pencil. So in a pencil shaped casing. They're not chalky or anything. So the only sort of way that I can see myself working with these is to get a palette, put the color in like this. and then putting a bit of water in there, and then using it like watercolor just like that. That is the best way to do it. And honestly, it really isn't a bad, like they're not bad watercolors. Like they, see what this Mont Marte paper does? It does this shit. This is why I really do steer clear of this paper unless I'm either doing an illustration I don't really care about, or I just use it as scrap paper like this. So, which is a shame because like this is a really like it's 300 GSM. It's a really good like textured paper, but there's just so much that lets this product down. Like this method here would be good if you wanted that crayon. Like if you press hard enough, you get a solid color. But yeah, when you go to like lift it, it does leave behind sort of like that onto the paper a bit. Like I just don't want to use them like that at all. Because yeah, I just don't like that. Like you'd be left with this and you can't sort of get it out. I've worked out how I'm going to use these. I've taken a completely different approach to what I did when I first got these. Yeah, I'm just going to basically use these pencils as watercolor. Just put it into the pan and yeah, add some water because yeah, it's the only way I can really sort of think of how to use these. Now the next thing to do is to come up with an illustration to use some of these and yeah, see how we go from there. Oh yeah, I forgot to show you, this is the paintbrush you get in the pack too. It's extremely light and I haven't used it because I don't really want to. It doesn't do anything for me. These Mont Marte Twistables, Twistable Colors, 36 Blendable Colors. Let's see what we can do with these and see whether or not it was $20 wasted. Alright, I don't know, I'm channeling. What am I channeling for these? Maybe. Let's do a girl. And she's a popsicle stick. She's like the ice cream part. And she's, yeah. Let me just draw it. Alright, so I'll have her head. I'll have her head sort of, we'll tilt her a bit to the side, just like that. Her shoulders. And she comes down like this. So we want a hand sitting here, holding the lollipop, the ice block. If I trace around my hand, we might have a general idea maybe. I haven't actually done one of these pieces for a while where I include my hand in it, so this will be fun. Like, I haven't done this for a while. Now I've got to keep referring to my hand, but I'm not left-handed. I can't draw left-handed. So paintbrush, so we'll I'll do it with my left hand because I can't draw with my left hand, but I'm just gonna try and flip my brain around to doing it the other side. Probably should have done the stick first. I'm gonna make sure the stick lines up. And draw myself with a fingernail. All my fingernails are broken and I don't know what to do. Usually when I start breaking them and I can't grow them, I put fake fingernails on for a while so I stop chewing them. Which is kind of just coming straight down. It's actually longer at this end. And then we've got the final Tinky Winky. I'm hoping that looks alright. I have to tuck that one up in there, so we might just do that because I think that makes like more sense that the fingers here are in the hand a little bit more, because the thumb sort of like comes over. If I move the post like just a little bit over, because we've got to remember she's kind of tilted on her side a bit. So if we go down, so it'll be about there, which might make a little bit more sense maybe. You know what, let's just do some ruffles or something, you know. Let's just been really into ruffles lately, as you've probably seen. I think her head needs to be a bit bigger though. I've got this thing for having massive heads. Just really wide jaw structures. Don't know why, but I think it just stems back to how I design a lot of my felt patterns, and then it just sort of trickles over into into my drawings. I just like that real like wide cheek jaw structure. Actually, we won't do a white nose on her. Try a sort of more of a petite nose, because I always tend to draw really big noses. She's gonna be crying because she ain't happy. Shit, she ain't happy that she's been put onto this stick. Now, as for her hair, I don't really know. Let's just coming around, and there's another piece sort of coming around there. Okay, so that's the final piece right there. So I reworked her hair and her lips and a bit of her face. Yeah, because I wasn't happy, so I'm trying a little bit of a different technique with the hair this time. So we'll see if that works out for me. But yeah, best thing to do now is to now color it with these and see how we go. So let's do that. I honestly was not real confident when I went into this piece, knowing that I had to use these. I just never really liked these so-called, I don't know, colored sticks or whatever they are called. But yeah, they've got no color names on them or anything like that, so you sort of don't know what they really are. So to me, I don't think that they're like a full-on watercolor in a stick. I think they're just I don't know what they are. I don't know how to really describe them other than they're like an oil pastel but without the oil. And they're very soft and they're very moist already. And they do dry fairly quickly when you do mix them with water. So I found that yeah, you didn't have to use the hairdryer as much, and you could basically just walk away, go make yourself a cuppa, come back and they'd be just dry. So that side of things, I didn't mind how they did dry. But one thing that I really noticed is, you know, a lot went like a short way. Like you really had to put a lot down into the palette of the stick, and yeah, just try and mix it up as best you can. The only issue that I had, like that I noticed with that method, was if you did put a bit of the stick into the palette and you tried to mush it up to get it to go watercolor, like a watercolor, it really did not dissolve in certain sections, and you really had to sit there and work at it and like get your biggest and your firmest paintbrush that you had and just get in there and start mashing it up. And even then, when I was painting onto the piece, I really found that there was little bits of chunks of the stick through it. So yeah, it was a little bit chunky, and there was a few chunky bits in my illustrations, so it didn't fully dissolve when you put a fair bit down into one of the palettes. They are definitely less pigmented than a typical watercolor, and I noticed this when I was mixing them, and I tried to mix it as dark as I could with water, and it sort of, I don't know, it sort of wasn't coming up very sharp and clean in color. And what I ended up doing was, with her hair, I ended up just going straight in with the darker teal, straight onto the paper. And I know at the beginning of the video I said that I was not going to do this, but I gave it a go and I didn't mind what it actually did. So the effect was quite nice. When it dried, it did look a bit pastel-y and a bit crayon-y, but yeah, I got the paintbrush in as best I could to try and blend some of that out. So yeah, that wasn't a flawless, there's no flawless blending with these. So yeah, that I noticed. Not that I'm like a super awesome blender or anything. It was in certain sections when I did line art this piece, it was kind of like drawing over a wax, like you were drawing over a crayon. And that were the sections that I went straight in and just went straight in with the teal color on her hair. So yeah, if you did use it and you wanted to put line art over the top, yeah, it's like drawing over wax, like candle wax. So that's the other thing I did notice when it was just put straight onto the paper and just mixed in with a little bit of water, but still showing a lot, yeah, not being diluted a huge amount. So yeah, it was still very sort of like a waxy consistency. And yeah, I couldn't get an even wash. There was, you couldn't sort of like push it like I could with watercolor, like you get a nice even wash. With these, you could only go a little bit and then they would basically dry up really quickly, and then you'd have to keep dipping your paintbrush into the palette to get more, and it just was not even at all. And then some of the time I was bringing up some of those chunks and it was leaving streaks, and yeah, a little bit of a shit fight in that respect. So and I had a bit of an issue with the red too, trying to get it to look as bloody as possible. But yeah, I even put that straight down onto the paper as well, and I couldn't get the effect that I wanted with that either. And yeah, these are definitely not professional. I don't even think they're student grade. I personally think that these are basically just for kids. I couldn't find much of a write-up about them. It doesn't say exactly what they are, whether they're like watercolor or anything like that. There's just nothing on these. I cannot believe how little information there is on these. So like I said at the beginning of the video, it just goes to show you how popular this set is, and I don't think it is very popular at all, to be completely honest with you. Would I recommend these for your kids? Yeah, definitely. And for anyone who wants a bit of a challenge to try and make artwork with something that's a little bit unethical than what you would usually use to create a watercolor piece with. Hey, if you like a challenge, knock yourself out. That's all I've got to say about them. But overall, I definitely did enjoy using these again, and they definitely did redeem themselves a fair bit, and I was able to make artwork out of it. Yeah, that's the end result of using these twistable colors from Mont Marte. Like, I must admit, like, I don't hate it, but yeah, you can definitely see that the quality of them it's not the best, but like, I can't say that I hate them or anything, because like, you can still produce artwork with them. Just, they're really marketed for kids, I think. To be completely honest. Yeah, you just throw them at your kids and say, there you go for it, just knock yourselves out. I have kind of had my mind changed a little bit on these twistables. So yeah, I do believe that I could potentially do another art piece with these in the future. Like, I don't want to waste them. Like, I'm not one for wasting things. So yeah, I would like to use these again. Yeah, like, they've definitely redeemed themselves from the 1.5 years ago when I first bought them. I just thought that they were a pile of shit, and now they've gone from being a pile of shit to being okay shit. Anyway, I'm gonna stop rambling. I'm out of here. See you guys in the next one. Bye.